Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons, a tribute to the late Sir Sean Connery with a iced Martini Parfait. Hello, I'm making a tribute video this week to Sir Sean Connery. An icon has gone. It's actually quite sad. Usually when famous actors, pop stars die, I'm like, oh, that's sad, But they had a good life, and he had a good life. But I think Sean Connery sort of transcended things. He was that extra special, legendary, iconic actor, and of course the role of James Bond. If in 100 years time they're still making James Bond movies, they will be comparing the new Bond to Sir Sean. So to try to think of a recipe to honour the man, how about a martini iced parfait, or an iced martini parfait, which is a type of ice cream. Okay, let's start by separating eggs. I need egg yolks for the parfait, but don't worry, I'm going to use the egg whites as well, so the people that get upset about that, you don't have to get upset, do you? Very fresh eggs. Look how clingy that egg white is. So it takes a while to get it off, but I prefer the pass it from one half of the egg shell into the other. Use any technique you like. I guess as long as you get them separated. So there you go. That's that done. Cream. I'm using a full fat, like a double cream, a heavy cream. Now we're going to whisk this up, but we're going to flavour it. This is where we're adding the martini-ness to it. So vodka and vermouth. And I put some lemon zest in there. Now you're never going to get this to whip as thickly as you would do normal cream now because of the alcohol in there, but get it to that sort of consistency, a soft peak I think we would call that, and reserve that. That was just some water to make sure, boiling in the pan, make sure it's really super clean, no impurities in there, because we're making a syrup. Obviously the full recipe is on my website, and the link to the website is in the description. So that's me using a sugar thermometer and being fairly specific about the temperature. We're reaching 121. I think it's also known as, is it hard crack or something like that? But you can eye it if you like. And once it's looking really syrupy and boiling, you'll be able to do this bit. So egg yolks into your stand mixer. And there I am gradually adding the syrup in, aiming to sort of meet where the egg yolk mixture meets the bowl. If you pour it directly onto the whisk attachment spinning around, obviously it's going to fly everywhere, and you don't want that. You don't want to be covered in boiling hot syrup, do you? It's quite tricky to get it all in, but I did in the end. And then just leave the mixer running. You see the colour change there? It's all pale and fluffy, and if you put your hand on the side of the bowl, you want this to be room temperature, really. And tip, put the vanilla extract in when the thing's not spinning. Otherwise you end up like a total numpty like me. What a plank. But there we go, get that vanilla in there. I'm happy that this is now cooled down. It's a beautiful consistency, and now I'm going to fold it into my pre-whipped cream. I wish I had just double checked the cream was still really as thick as it could be, because I think it was a bit loose underneath. And so my mixture at this stage, it started off really promising and then got a bit wet, and I was concerned. I thought, oh, have I messed this up? But not to worry, it froze beautifully, so it's fine. We're going to put it into a mould. Obviously, if you've got a massive freezer, you could even put this into martini glasses to look extremely, very decadent, wouldn't it? But I've got an old, like Le Creuset type terrine mould. I'm just putting a double layer of cling film in there, get that in there nice and secure so it can come out afterwards. Pour your mixture in, or spoon in if it's thicker than mine, and that's in the freezer. Right, the next day I'm going to make a little salsa to go with it, with pineapple. So a little history for you. Parfait is French, and it means perfect. And it is a form of ice cream where you've seen, you don't need to have an ice cream machine. And it's something to do with the alcohol and the fats the eggs, they sort of stop those ice crystals forming, and you get a nice smooth ice cream without having to have a churner to keep it agitated while it's chilling. Isn't that clever? So you can see me there just dicing up the pineapple. I mean, this isn't a pineapple salsa video, so I waffled over that. But, you know, if you're interested in doing this, it's how I cut that up into nice little pieces, like so. And I think the first written records of Parfait would date back to 1894. I believe it's that Monsieur Escoffier again responsible for that. And here we go. Yeah, I just thought, let's put a bit of passion fruit with the pineapple, and that'll be a nice contrast. So, not wasting the egg whites. To make a wafer mixture, basically this recipe is equal quantities egg white, unsalted butter, plain flour, all-purpose flour, and sugar. So you just saw me measuring those out. The butter is melting in the microwave at the moment, so let's just beat those other ingredients together, try to get that to form a paste, and then I can add in the melted butter. Let the butter cool down a little bit though, and you'll end up with a nice smooth batter like that. Now my oven is broken. I'm waiting for a part to be received, so it's making doing my videos a challenge, to say the least. But this is a way you can make what the French will call a tuile biscuit, or a wafer, in a non-stop pan on a very low heat, pretty much as low as your heat will go, really. And yeah, just keep flipping it backwards and forwards until it's nice and golden all over, and it's really hot. Be careful with your fingers. And I use the wooden spoon to roll this up, and it's really hot. Yep, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. But look at that, just a moment later, and it's cooled down. So they're very malleable when they're hot, but as soon as they cool down, you can form them into shapes. That was a thin strip that I did, and that was another round one. Well, hot again. But yeah, use a rolling pin, something like that, and look what you end up with. You end up with a lovely shaped wafer that is really tasty. Yeah, well done me. Very pleased with that. Finish off the salsa. Some chiffonade, to use a fancy French name for shredded mint, into the salsa. And now let's knock together a martini. So this will divide the room, because I'm certainly not a purist here. I sort of go about 2-to-1 vodka to vermouth. Now, the purists will say there should just be a hint, you know, the echo of a bit of vermouth. But, you know, I like the vermouth in there. And so that's what I do. And maybe a little bit less than 1 part to the 2 parts, but you know, however you like yours. And of course, this is a tribute to the late, great Sean Connery, so it must be shaken, not stirred. And there's a little bit of lemon peel that I just scrunched up. All right then, thank you autofocus for focusing on a bit of cling film and not the beautiful slice of parfait that is now set. But you know, pop that back in the freezer as soon as possible. And let's arrange this dessert. I had the slate in the freezer, so it's nice and chilled. Arranged my salsa on there. I'm going to sit the parfait on top, and I'm going to nestle against it the cigarette-shaped, because Bond smokes cigarette, doesn't he? Proper Bond, anyway. Back over to me for tasting. Alright, so I'm in a hurry here because this is melting. The food I make for these videos is not usually melting. So, we have a tribute to Sean Connery. A iced Martini Parfait with a cigarette, or a cigar, more like a cigar, and a lovely little salsa with some fresh pineapple and passion fruit and some mint. Beautiful. And we have a martini, which is going to knock my socks off. But first of all, let's have a go at this, shall we? Before it melts, really lovely, soft, really creamy texture. Oh, that's good. I was very worried. Obviously it's very soft because of the amount of alcohol that went into it. If you put a bit less alcohol, it'll be less nice, but it'll be firmer. You know, something for you to consider. Oh, it's really lovely. Let's try this tuile biscuit. That's what that's called, or a wafer with a bit of that on it. Pretty sure you can hear that. Oh my god, that's so nice. This is definitely a posh dessert. Far too posh for Uncle Matt's cookery lessons. So, rest in peace, Sir Sean. I hope you approve of my little tribute to you there. And yeah, thank you very much for the memories. And thank you everybody for watching Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it's blooming brilliant. Bye.